Okay, so you know how you sent us that article about AI?
Uh-huh.
It's like really fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of digs into this like fundamental problem,
Mm.
how AI systems, like once they learn one thing,
Yeah.
they kind of struggle to learn something new on top of that. It's like not as simple as you'd think, right?
Right. It's definitely not just like adding files to a computer. It's way more complicated. And the source we have here uses this great analogy to explain it.
Oh yeah, the whole cement house thing, right?
Exactly. Thinking of AI learning as building a house but with like cement.
Okay, so walk me through this. Like how does that even work?
So imagine an AI, right? It's learned to recognize, say, 10 different animals, like your
Mhm.
typical cats, dogs, birds, whatever.
The basics, yeah.
Right. And the source says this initial learning phase, it's like building a 10-room house out of cement. Each room is like perfectly designed for one animal category.
So there's like a cat room, a dog room.
Exactly. 10 rooms, 10 different animal classifications, all neatly defined. And if we want to make that initial learning stronger, like showing the AI even more cat pictures,
It's just adding more cement to that cat room.
exactly. It's just reinforcing what's already there, making it more solid.
Okay, so that makes sense. You're building on a solid foundation. But then what happens if we want to teach it something totally new?
That's where things get tricky.
Like, say we want to add 10 more animals to the mix. Rabbits, deer, stuff it hasn't seen before.
Right, so now we want to add 10 more rooms onto this house. But the problem
And
is,
cement's already set.
exactly, it's rock solid. And those initial 10 rooms, they're kind of fixed in how they're arranged.
So it's not as easy as just slap it on an extension, huh?
Nope. Because these classifications in AI, they're not isolated. They're all connected in this complex web.
It's not like Lego blocks where you just snap on a new piece.
Right. It's way more interconnected. So if you try to force in new categories, it's like,
You're missing with the whole structure,
yeah, like you're chipping away at walls that are already there to make space.
and that can cause problems, right?
Big time. Because, like, the AI can get confused. Not just about the new animals it's trying to learn.
But even about the ones it already knew.
Exactly. That's the crazy part. An AI that was perfectly good at telling a cat from a dog might suddenly start mixing them up.
Oh, wow.
Or even like completely forget how to recognize them.
So it's not just that it doesn't learn the new stuff well, it forgets the old stuff too.
Right. And the source calls this catastrophic forgetting.
That sounds pretty catastrophic. What does that actually mean for how we use AI?
Well, think about it. If we're using AI for things that need constant learning, like, say, self-driving cars or personalized medicine.
You can't have it suddenly forgetting everything it knows.
Exactly. The AI needs to be able to adapt without losing its previous expertise.
Makes sense. So what's the solution here?
Well, the source says it would have been way better to just like plan for all 20 animal categories from the beginning.
So build the 20-room house from the start.
Yeah. If the AI learns about cats, dogs, rabbits, deer, everything, all at the same time.
It's like laying the foundation and building all the rooms as part of one big plan.
Exactly. And that makes the whole structure way more stable.
Makes sense. It's like if you know you're going to have a big family, you build a bigger house from the get-go.
Precisely.
So it seems like the way we're currently designing AI, it makes it really hard to teach it things incrementally.
Right. But that hasn't stopped people from trying. The source mentions some clever techniques they're using to address this.
Oh yeah, the remodeling stuff. So they're trying to figure out how to add on to that cement house,
Yeah.
even though it's already set.
Yeah, and they're using some pretty interesting methods.
Like what?
Well, there's this technique called EWC, or elastic weight consolidation.
Okay, what's that all about?
It's kind of like reinforcing the foundation of the house, the stuff the AI already knows.
So make those parts really strong so they don't break when you add new stuff.
Exactly. It's like saying, okay, we can add new rooms, but don't mess with these load-bearing walls.
Interesting. And what about the replay method? How does that work?
That's like constantly referring back to the original blueprints of the house.
So it's like reminding the AI of what it learned before so it doesn't accidentally mess anything up when it's learning new things.
Precisely. It helps prevent the AI from, like, accidentally knocking down a supporting beam when it's building a new wing.
That's a cool idea. And there was one more, right?
Yeah, knowledge distillation.
What's that one like?
It's like making a copy of the original house's design, but like a simpler, more distilled version.
Like a blueprint, right?
Yeah, and the AI uses this simpler blueprint to guide how it learns the new stuff.
So it's like it's trying to learn in a way that aligns with what it already knows.
Exactly.
These all sound really clever, but the source also mentioned that they don't always work, especially when things get more complex.
Right. And that makes sense if you think about it. Even with reinforced foundations or blueprints, you're still adding stuff onto a structure that's fundamentally fixed.
Like, no matter how well you plan it, adding a second story to a house that wasn't built for it can still cause problems.
Exactly. And the more complex the new stuff you're trying to add, the more likely it is to mess things up.
It's like you might not notice the cracks at first,
Mhm.
but eventually the whole thing could become unstable.
Right. And the source uses a really simple example to illustrate this. Organizing contacts on your phone.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. So, like, at first you might just have 10 contacts and you group them all under family. Easy peasy.
Right. But then you get 10 more contacts. Friends, work colleagues, whatever. And trying to cram them all into that family category just doesn't work.
You end up with this messy, disorganized group that doesn't really make sense.
Exactly. And it would have been way better to just plan for all 20 contacts from the start.
Create separate groups for family, friends, work, and so on.
Right. And that's the same problem with AI learning if you don't plan for the full scope of what it needs to learn from the beginning.
You end up with a cement house that's really hard to modify later on.
Precisely. And that's kind of the key takeaway here. The way AI learns, at least for now, it's not as flexible as we might hope.
So, even though AI can do these amazing things, it still struggles with something as basic as learning new things without forgetting old things.
And that really makes you think about the limitations of how we're currently designing AI.
Yeah. It's like, if our brains work like that, we'd be in big trouble.
Imagine forgetting how to walk every time you learn a new word.
That's a scary thought.
It is, and it really highlights how much we still have to learn about how to create truly intelligent machines.
So, considering this whole cement house idea, what do you think needs to change? Like, how can we make AI more adaptable and less prone to this catastrophic forgetting?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Like, could we maybe design AI that learns more like a modular system instead of one big interconnected block? Something that can add new knowledge without messing with the existing stuff.
It's definitely a possibility, and there are researchers exploring different approaches to achieve that kind of flexibility, but it's a really complex challenge.
It is. And I think it also makes you wonder about the nature of intelligence itself.
Mhm.
Like, how do our brains manage to learn new things throughout our lives without constantly forgetting what we already know?
Right, there's clearly something going on in biological brains that we haven't quite figured out how to replicate in artificial systems.
Well, that's something to ponder, for sure.
Definitely food for thought.
Well, thanks for diving into this with us. I think this whole cement house analogy really helps to understand the challenges of AI learning in a, like, really intuitive way.
It definitely paints a vivid picture.
Yeah, and it gives us a lot to think about in terms of the future of AI.
Absolutely. And who knows what breakthroughs might be just around the corner.
Exactly. So, until next time, keep those brains buzzing, folks.
And keep sending us those fascinating articles.
We love to deep dive into them.
We do.
See ya.